You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. Waiting to see who the next LSU Tigers will be that come off the board this weekend. And I think there are obviously a lot of possibilities. I think Cordell Flott will certainly hear his name called. Ed Ingram will hear his name called. Neil Farrell will certainly. I'm very curious about Ty Davis-Price. Mm-hmm. I think he's a potential 7th-round pick or undrafted free agent. If there's a team that loves him, they might nab him. You had asked me about Damone Clark, and I'm a little apprehensive. And I love Damone. I think he's going to be a great pro. But we talk about all the time, the medical matters so much, and we have a neck injury. There's teams that may just take him off the board. I remember a few years back, Dylan Moses was a guy that was a projected first-round pick. He had a knee injury, and he ended up going undrafted. Teams just took him off their board because he couldn't pass a medical. So I worry about that with Damone. I hope he gets drafted, but I always, whenever there's an injury like that, I always go, I think that's probably what keeps Glenn Logan from being drafted. He was a very productive player, very good player, inside and out, but he had so many injuries. I don't know how he's going to go to the combine and pass that medical. And so he'll get a shot, I'm sure, somewhere as an undrafted free agent, but we'll see how it all plays out. Cade York certainly could hear his name called if a team decides to use a pick on a kicker, but we'll wait and see with some of those guys. We know that Derek Stingley obviously heard his name called in the first round with the 3rd overall pick, so he ties the mark of the highest-ranked cornerback taken ever. And I shared this on the companion show. I don't believe I've shared it on AFR, but I will. I started working out at Traction in 2014. And for those who don't know, it's the training facility in Baton Rouge that Ryan's a co-owner of. And I remember Derek Stingley, as a freshman, I believe at the time at Dunham, maybe around 2015 or so. It had to be around that time. Mm-hmm. Was around, and I remember talking to Ryan Clark, and he said he was talking about Derek, and said he would be a better safety because of his body type. He would be the best safety in the country if he played safety, but he's going to play corner because he wants to play corner. And when the day comes, he will be the first cornerback taken in his draft. That's when the kid was a high school freshman. Mm-hmm. To say that Derek Stingley is just different is very obvious. I mean, he just is physically. We saw it from the moment he stepped on a college campus and was the best defensive back, not only on his team, but the best defensive back in the country. And he did have injury issues the last 2 years, but he was able to quell any of those issues, obviously through his pre-draft workouts and through the combine answering the questions that people might have had about him. He did so satisfactorily. And he's going to get a $38 million contract as the number 3 overall pick, and he has the distinction of being the highest drafted cornerback ever from LSU and tying the mark for the highest drafted cornerback ever. Just certainly deserving, but incredible all the same.
The first time I laid eyes on him, he was an 8th grader at Dunham, starting on the varsity team, and you could already see that what you're talking about, that special talent. He was actually returning kicks. And, look, it's one thing when you can look out on a field and see what players are and who they are, but another thing when you see just how special they are, to watch him grow from the 8th grade to a senior at Dunham, here in Baton Rouge, and then obviously at LSU, same deal. You mentioned his physical attributes, which are special and elite, but from a mental standpoint, I think that's where Derek is going to be different than everybody else. Extremely sharp, very bright kid, has always done things the right way, has made calculated decisions and choices his entire life. The one thing he's done for me that is just special and different is he has, and shout out to his dad as well, but he's surrounded himself with people, good people that have his best interests in mind. And that's from day one. This kid's elite on the field. He's elite in the classroom. He's elite with his friends. You see him at his sister's softball games all the time, and family matters to him. All you had to do was look at the pre-draft party and hear his draft party and to see who was there. Just a representative for our school. Yeah, sure, you get frustrated when the kid's not playing. You want him out there because he is so special. But looking back at it now, the way he did it was the right way. And I don't think we've seen the best Derek Stingley, honestly.
We learned he played the first 4 games of the season injured. I mean, clearly, he had a Liz Frank. He had surgery, and it ended up being the right decision for him. It ended up being a $38 million decision for him. And I don't fault him at all. I think he clearly did the right thing, and I think sometimes because Derek isn't. He doesn't have Twitter. He's not going to pop off on social media. You saw Deebo Samuel earlier this week kind of clap back at all the people who are talking about him, talking heads or whatnot. That's just never going to be Derek.
Right.
He's just not. He's before this season started, LSU Sports Information, they kind of had to nudge him to go to media days because they're like, look, you're going to be up for the Thorpe and all these awards, and if you want to win that, in some respects, it is kind of a a popularity contest, but these people need to know you and see you and be out there. It's just not where he wants to be. Like on the field, he's that dude, but he's just not that verbal, outgoing type personality, which is fine. That's just not his comfort zone to be that, and I think that caused a lot of confusion for some people. But like you said, you put him with a dry erase marker in his hand at a whiteboard and have him draw on defense, or you want to talk concepts. He has been. I'll use this term, but I want to explain. Like he's been bred for this.
Oh, yeah.
It's not to say that his dad just made him a football player because he was trying to build it's something Derek wanted to do, and had a dad that was a coach, and was like, okay, well, if you're going to commit to this, then I'll show you how. And he has, and look, he's blended great genetics and God given ability, hard work, effort, and great teaching and people around him to now be the highest drafted cornerback ever. I think he's going to be awesome in Houston. He's going to be provided he stays healthy, he'll have a very special NFL career, man. I'm excited for their whole family.
And let me say this too. Loves LSU, by the way. You've noticed the big DBU chain that he had on, like, hold
Yeah, there it is. Was that it?
That's it.
Oh, okay. All right,
And
I'm
he went to Sherwood Middle too. Shout out the Falcons for a little
Oh,
while.
did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Congrats to Derek Stingley.
Me, Erica, Sting.
Yes, all one and the same. Exciting moment for the whole family. So congrats to Derek, and best of luck what's ahead, and to all the LSU guys that are going to hear their name called either today or on Saturday. And for those that don't, however it may go, we talked about RC. It's a guy who, I tell you all the time, he went undrafted, played 13 years in the league.
Mm-hmm.
There's a path. It doesn't always go through the draft for everybody, but there's a path if you want it. So good luck to all the guys this weekend. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.